Hi everyone, welcome to First Chapter Friday. I'm Miss Alexis from the Slidell Branch Library. So each Friday this summer, we are going to be reading the first chapter of a book from the Louisiana Young Reader's Choice nominee list. So the Louisiana Young Reader's Choice Award lets you vote for which book that you think that best deserves the award. To find out more of the books that are nominated, you can go to our website, sttammanylibrary.org. And today we are going to read the first bit of the Crayon Man, this true story of the invention of the Crayola Crayon. And this is by Natasha Bebo and illustrated by Steven Solero. And this is about how the crayons that you color today, how they were invented. Once there was a man who saw color everywhere. He noticed the yellow-orange of the black-eyed Susans in his garden. He marveled at the rich scarlet feathers of the cardinals, and he admired the deep blue-greens of the waves and the sea. Color made him really, really happy. But all day long at work, all he saw was black. Black dust, black tar, black smoke, black ink, black dye, and black shoe polish, because his company sold carbon black, which was a new type of pigment made from the soot of burning oil and natural gas. People use it in printing inks, electric sheet lamps, and stove and shoe polish. It was also used to make the rubber on the tires last longer. His name was Edwin Binney, and he was an inventor. He worked with his cousin, C. Harold Smith, and together they were Binney and Smith. Harold was a great salesman. He loved to travel the world. Edwin was curious. He had a knack for listening to what people needed. Edwin invented a new kind of inexpensive slate pencil that wrote very smoothly. It was gray, and children loved it. He invented a kind of chalk that wasn't dusty, and it didn't crumble, and teachers loved it. It was white. He invented a wax crayon that would write on wood and paper packaging. It was really, really black, and people loved it. So when everyone, including Edwin's wife, Alice, told him that children needed better, cheaper crayons, he listened. They said, "Crayons we have are big, dull, and clumsy. The lumps of colored clay only make fat, clunky lines. And the artist crayons from Europe are far too expensive, and they crumble and break easily. Some are even poisonous." Edwin thought about his company's inventions. When you draw a picture with their gray slate pencil, it rubbed off at the drop of a hat. When you drew a picture with white chalk, it smudged everywhere. If you drew a picture with Edwin's new really black crayon, it was, well, really black. None of these inventions was any good for drawing color. So Edwin listened and invented in a small stone mill in Pennsylvania in a top secret lab. Edwin's team experimented. How could they make better, stronger crayons? Melted paraffin wax? Perhaps. Now for crayon colors, grinding up rocks and minerals into fine powders, mixing slate for gray, earth for yellow, red and brown, perhaps. Oh yes, and lapis for blue. Pounding, sifting, and heating the colored powders, would they be bright enough? Edwin's team kept on trying, and they kept on experimenting. They came home covered in color. They experimented some more and discovered that a pinch of pigment, a sploosh of that one, a little hotter, a little cooler, and voila, lots of different shades. Now there were greens, oranges, violets, and pinks too, and they came home covered in color. In a large tub at the mill, Edwin's team measured out the ingredients, melted wax, clay to thicken, something for texture, colored powders, each in just the right amount every time to make a top secret formula. Slowly, carefully stirring by hand, they poured the special formula into thin crayon-shaped molds, smaller than any of the inventor's molds, just the right size for children's hands. The mixture cooled and hardened. Edwin watched and Edwin waited. Finally, one summer evening in June 1903, Edwin came home covered in color and announced that he had invented a new type of colored crayon. But what should he call it? Alice had an idea. She said, let's mix the French word cray for a stick of chalk and the word ola from the word oleaginous, meaning oily, like the oily texture of the crayon wax, to invent a new word, Crayola. And Edwin listened. So that is all we're going to read of the book today. So you can come check it out at the library and see more about how he invented the crayon. But thank you for visiting us for First Chapter Friday, and please join us next week for another exciting first chapter. So if you would like to read more of this book, visit your branch or go online. So we'll see you next week. Thank you. Everyone have a great day.